great, and thanks very much for your time.
No problem.
And thanks for completing the fact find as well. That's greatly appreciated. Certainly saves a bit of time. Now, I know today that we've got a limited amount of time.
Yep.
You've indicated you only got about 20 minutes for us to get through a fair bit of stuff.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So what I've done is, ahead of our meeting, I've just wanted to set out a little bit of an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that is in terms of the purpose of today's meeting, which I'll touch on now. So the purpose of today's meeting is running through the fact find, because there's a couple of areas we can touch on and I need some elaboration.
Yep.
A little bit more padding from you.
Yep.
And I also wanted to, on the basis of the meetings that yourself and Lani and I've had, work through and bring you up to speed on like the financial services and credit guide that we use as a company.
Yep.
And acknowledge a couple of other factors.
Yep.
So, have you got any questions from any meetings that we've had so far?
No, not really. It was it's fairly self-explanatory and it's well laid out. So no. Not
Okay,
yet.
so you're feeling we're on track as to where we're going.
Yep.
Now, I just wanted to touch on something we haven't spoken about. Was have you ever had any financial planning advice or any financial professionals? I know you're now a director of a business. Have you had any touching with your accountants or things like this?
Oh well, I guess the accountant from that perspective in regards to the business side of things, but nothing really looking at the future planning, so to speak, of myself or from a business perspective.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So look, financial planners. I know we've sort of touched on this. I just want to reiterate and really drive this home. We're obviously quite different than your accountant. Your accountant's looking after your tax affairs. We're looking after other elements of your financial world.
Yep.
So we're going to look at things like your superannuation, retirement planning, touching on wills and estates, insurances, etc. So and investments. So these are the world, your world, that we can touch on and assist you with.
Yep.
So I just wanted to reiterate that. One of the important, really important documents that we do have is what's called a financial services guide or a financial services and credit guide.
Okay.
Now,
sorry, I'll just quickly check
sure,
that
no
was.
worries. I'll let you grab that.
Thank you.
Great, all okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks. No worries. So this is the financial services and credit guide that we have.
Yep.
And this is from our company.
Yep.
The financial services and credit guide is a document which highlights and explains who our organisation is, the business I work for, and how I'm remunerated.
Yep.
It also sets out if there's any issues which may arise, how to go about dealing with those issues. Such as a complaint, who to complain to and how to go about that. There's resources for you to reach out and touch and activate if you feel you need to. I don't believe we'll ever get to that point, and I never have, so that's all good.
Cool.
So just running through that, in there you can see that like our fee structure, I am an employee of the company that I work for. I don't derive income from commissions or things like that. I'm paid a salary. Okay, so that's clear. A lot of this information will be reiterated in terms of the statement of advice, which is the document that we're sort of working towards now, and what you sort of came to us, what you both came to us for in the first place. So that's basically that. Have you got any sort of questions?
No, that's pretty straightforward. It's well laid out.
Fantastic. I'd encourage you to have a read of it. Okay. And if you've got any queries at all, give me a call, touch base with our office, or send me an email with any queries that you have.
Right,
we can answer that. Fantastic. Okay. Moving on, I wanted to shift our focus to the fact find.
Yes.
So in terms of that, how did you guys go with completing it? Because I know it's a fairly big document. What were your sort of thoughts on it?
Yeah, look, no major dramas. It's just a matter of chipping away, doing it bit by bit. I'm working out, putting in your budgets, or not your budgets, but working out those figures and bits and pieces it needs and plugging it all in. So it was fairly well laid out.
Okay, fantastic. It normally follows a logical sequence of where you are and what you're trying to achieve. Any areas that you were a little bit confused with or anything like that?
No, it was pretty straightforward. I guess there is some stuff which it becomes an eye opener once you start putting in, your income and your expenses and so forth. But
Sure.
it's not something I've really done before and looked at from that perspective. So, but no, nothing that was really confusing or challenging to work out.
Well, it's great that you just touched on sort of the education side.
Yeah.
Until we commit to black and white, a lot of the stuff is sort of up in the air.
Yeah.
We don't realise what we're spending and things like that. So spot on. So look, I've got what you sent me.
Yep.
So all of your details, I'm going to make the assumption that this is correct. So just confirming your date of birth is that one there in terms of 1980.
Yep.
And Lani, your partner, is 1983.
Yep. Correct.
Fantastic. Address is all good.
Yep.
Contact details are all correct.
Yep.
Fantastic. Now, you're still happy with, in terms of the delivery of us sending this through to you. So when we've completed the statement of advice, we'll have our meeting at that stage. We'll run through that statement of advice. Okay. You'll obviously have a copy of that. Are you happy for us to deliver you an electronic copy of that?
Yeah, electronic's fine.
Okay.
Save the paper.
Obviously with you. Fantastic. Thank you. Because the environment's something that we're quite concerned with.
Yep.
Hence we tend to go to a largely electronic system. So with that, you'll receive a copy, an electronic copy of the financial services guide that I've just given you there.
Yep.
Also, any what they call PDS, product disclosure statements.
Okay. Yep.
So product is the end result.
Yep.
So what we're looking at through the fact find is producing the statement of advice, which will encapsulate all of the information that we're trying to get across to you.
Yep.
And go, this is what we think is the best course of action.
Mm-hmm.
If that course of action involves you investing in product like a super fund or particular insurance, the documents that relate to those we'll send you electronically. You happy with that?
Yep, definitely.
Fantastic. Okay. And as we've got here, we have already touched on the fact we've identified both yourself and Lani through your driver's licenses that we've cited, and we've obtained certified copies of those.
Yep.
That will be kept on our filing system, okay, which is electronic also.
Yep.
And in relation to that, it's obviously bound by privacy principles and things like this.
No worries.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now you've only got a daughter.
Yep.
Okay. Now, do you want to tell us a little bit about where you're at with the family and your thinking behind coming to see us, and you're looking at your super and insurances?
Yeah, so I guess more than anything, we find ourselves in a family situation now, and from that perspective, we need to be more mindful of if something happened to one of us, financial freedom or some financial lack of stress as the other partner move forward with our daughter, or heaven forbid if something happened to both of us. That she has some sort of security, but then also as Lani and I have moved through different jobs, we've got different super in different places, knowing where that is and what it is, and consolidating that into preferred funds is probably, or is definitely something we've been considering as well, or need to address.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, just touch on a couple of things. I'm going to make some notes, sorry, as I go.
Yeah, definitely.
This is, we've got baseline information, but there's things that you'll say which are key things for me, and things I might want to refer back to either during the meeting or post the meeting. So one of the things was, you mentioned stress. Okay, so are you guys feeling stressed about where you're at the moment, or?
I'm not so much stressed, but it's just that unknown, so sooner or later you have to address the unknown. If we're sitting there going, well, we want Eloise to be financially secure, and if something happened to us, we need to address that and make sure that we've taken care of it. Yeah,
fantastic. In the world, what would her security look like if something were to happen to either yourself or to Lani?
Well, if something was to happen to one of us, ideally the security would be from the other parent being able to stay at home and not have to work necessarily in the short term. Probably in the long term, they need, one of us would need, the other one, whichever one it is, would need to go back to work. But in the short term, some financial freedom to not have to work, as well as look at financial freedom in regards to loans and debts, like property and so forth.
Okay.
So those things taken care of.
So would that mean like trying to extinguish those,
pay
them all out?
Yeah, I think extinguish them. So some sort of life insurance, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, I know you've obviously spoken with Lani because that has popped up in the previous discussion before our meeting today. Did she have any concerns about that? Did she come at it from a different angle? Because sometimes as couples we both think a little bit differently, and one can pose a different question than the other, or you feel you're both fairly aligned?
It was fairly united from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what we did identify is Lani wouldn't want to go back to work as soon as I would. And, you know, I think being self-employed, you know, it's just a benefit of when I go back to work, it's not, you know, I can pace that work how I want it to be.
Yeah.
Whereas when Lani goes back to work, because she's not self-employed, she has to go back to work for someone else.
Sure.
You know, work is work, so therefore her time with Eloise would diminish. So she wants to, you know, she'd want to be going back to work at a later date than me.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd be happy to go back to work sooner because I could manage the balance.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you know, it was fairly aligned in regards to our thoughts and so forth.
Fantastic. Now I know you're a director of OTEC.
Yep.
So is there any possibility you can sort of expand on that? Because sometimes, and how that's loosely set up. The reason I ask is sometimes there are insurances or a strategy in place with the business.
Yep.
And I just want to see where that might overlap with your personal situation.
So I have business OTEC consultants that's managed and run out of a trust. So that's a discretionary trust that's run out of. And OTEC Consultants Proprietary Limited is a trustee for that trust. And I'm a director of OTEC Consultants. Okay. So there's certain levels of protection through the accountant that we set up there. OTEC Consultants trades in predominantly the outdoor sector, as well as you know, looking at risk and compliance in the roping sector. And then from there, OTEC Consultants is also an owner of another business, Zenith Events.
Okay.
And Zenith Events works in more of the charity-based events, participation-based events field.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so it's a fair bit of work that you guys do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sounds like a good space to be in.
Yeah, no, it is. You know, things are always changing. It's not the same job each day sitting behind an office desk. It's always moving around, so it's good.
Yeah, and I guess with the charities, it's quite rewarding.
It is, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It is.
Fantastic. Well, it's important work for the community.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so running through this, you guys are both in excellent health, you've said.
Yep.
I noticed in here you had the response in relation to sports and hobbies.
Yep.
Obviously, the work that you're involved in means you're quite athletic, quite sporty, getting out and about into the environment. You've put in rock climbing as a sport and hobby.
Yeah, you know, I instruct and teach it, and you know, I just do a bit on the side myself as well.
Okay.
Obviously not as much, well, not obviously, but not as much these days as I used to with a little daughter. But you know, I still like to get out and do some rock climbing when I can.
Yep, fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, so in terms of that, you ever had any incidents? You haven't fallen and broken a bone or anything like that? Or?
No, look, it's one of those things that it, you know, really in the bigger world, it has a perceived high risk. You know, the risk of injury when rock climbing isn't necessarily that high, you know, in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, most of the climbing I do is top rope, not leading, so you know, it's not like you can fall great distances.
Yeah.
So, no.
Look, I don't understand a lot of that, but I'm assuming what you're getting at is you're quite safe.
Yeah, yeah, I keep myself safe.
All right, fantastic. Just looking at some of the other things. So, the reason for you to coming to see us today, you've said in here, we've got a young daughter now, and we want to make sure if something happens to either of us, the other and our daughter will be looked after, which is exactly what you sort of touched on earlier.
Financial freedom.
Yep, so financial freedom. So you're looking at insurances predominantly for that.
Yep.
But you also want to tidy up your supers.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So we're all on the same page. Just running through this. So they're your two main goals. Now I know you're mindful of time as well,
okay.
So thank you. All right. We looked at your super, so we've got a lot of that information. Your risk profile, were you guys happy with that, just running through that?
Yep.
Yep, Cool.
Yeah, I think I'm more open to risk than Lani is really when it comes to what we do with the money and how we do it.
Yeah.
But I guess also over time that that risk is going to reduce somewhat.
Yeah.
As we get a little bit older, I want a little bit more security with where the investment is and what we're doing with that.
Fantastic.
At the age of 60, I don't want to still be more of a medium risk category where things can go wrong and
Yeah.
you got to start again.
Yeah. So look, from previous discussions, you've also done some personal investing as well. So it seems like, and Lani a little as well. So you've both got an understanding of some of that. We talked about that at the last meeting as well in terms of risk and return. Okay. All right. So you touched on a couple of trade-offs. So Lani was prepared to make some changes in lifestyle at a later stage by spending less, like for retirement. And yours was just to revise your financial goals. So you're happy to revise those on an intermittent basis. So I know we're fairly tight on time. Moving forward from here, what I'm going to do is the information I've got here. We'll obviously need to touch base in relation to some of the other super funds.
Yep.
We need to get information from that.
Yep.
So I know you've got a signed copy of the fact find for me.
Yep.
Now with that, I will obviously touch base with the authority that was signed in there.
Yep.
With some of these other insurers, we'll get some more information.
Yep.
What we're going to do is look at your goals. Okay, and then we're going to map those out through that statement of advice.
Cool. Okay.
So once we've done that,
Yep.
we'll be able to sit down and work through that
Yep.
to see if you're comfortable and happy with that.
Perfect.
In terms of a process, are you comfortable with where things are at the moment?
Yeah, no, it seems to be moving forward. From the fact-finding sheet to what you're saying here, it's marrying up. So it looks like things are moving in the right direction.
Okay. So from here, it's going to take probably around about 3 weeks for us to compile research and then produce the statement of advice.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to touch on was the fees associated with the compilation of the advice.
Yep.
Now, in the fact find, we stated that the fees, I'm just going to jump ahead to that, sorry, was about $1,800 for the compilation of the statement of advice.
Yep.
Now that covers obviously my time, covers researching, it covers producing the document.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions in relation to that?
No, that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, good. And you wanted that definitely to come out of your bank account?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. And in terms of the implementation of that advice, now we charge an additional fee of $200 for that.
Yep.
So all up, it's $2,000.
Yep.
So that's $1,000 per person.
Yep.
Thank you. So that's you're both comfortable with that?
Yeah, no problem.
I did know that you had signed off on that already. Yep. Okay. Look, any questions that you may have, and sometimes after the meeting today, and it was a really quick meeting, I'd suggest that there may be something might pop up.
Yep.
I'd encourage you guys to give us a call or shoot me an email, whichever's convenient for you, and I'll do my best to answer those questions.
Cool.
And then once we've gotten that, maybe next time we can meet in the office when you're both available, and we can run through everything that we need to at that time.
That sounds good.
Okay, fantastic.
Excellent.
Thanks very much.
No worries, thanks.
Thanks.
See ya.
Thanks.